Taranaki's Avonstour Heritage Farm is a certified organic farm specialising in rare and heritage breeds. Avonstour's owners supply organic meat, stud stock, eggs, fruit and a range of educational services to their local community.
Land-wise, it's 170 acres, which is about 1,000 stock units. You can't make money doing 1,000 stock units, so we run courses, we direct market our meat to the public. We sell our own eggs, we sell our own fruit, and we do farm stays. We are a rare breeds farm, that's a heritage farm. All the old breeds, which are rare breeds now, and some of them really rare, they're all made before 1942, before the chemical revolution. So all of the breeds that we farm really fit in well with the organic regime. We are a certified organic farm, and we're trying to get as much biodiversity on the property as we can. So using the biodiversity system, things overlap, so one animal will eat what another animal doesn't. So the cows won't eat ragwort, but when the sheep come round, they eat the ragwort. We've also added in donkeys that eat other weeds, like Californian thistle, they eat rushes, they eat gorse, they eat barberry. And all of that is returned to donkey poo and goes back on the paddock, which forms the manure to feed the sheep and other livestock that we sell for meat. We don't use any fertiliser at all on the farm, nothing at all. We do add lime in. It's a soil conditioner, not a fertiliser. We sheet compost, which is sabbatical fallowing. So the basic sabbatical fallowing, you shut 1/7 of your grazing area up for a full year. And then you get your own seed back, you get all the humus, which builds up the topsoil, it builds up the worms, builds up all the microorganisms that are under the soil, which is actually your farm. Poultry for pasture clean-up, they generally go last. It changes throughout the year, but we run the sheep, cattle, donkeys, horses, and then last of all we put our chicken trailer, and they scratch over the cow dung, pick through for parasites, and they actually forage for a lot of their food, so we're not feeding those poultry much food at all.
We've got the modern game, the Polish, the Howden, and little Japanese bantams. We've got the Silkies, we've got Chinese geese, grey legs, geese as well. I mean, I like all the farm animals. It just sort of worked out that I did, because with permaculture, you sort of have small things close by and then branch out. You know, this is sort of like the hub. And because at the time I didn't have any transport to go further off the farm, so I just did the things closer around the house. So I could sort of look after the children and do the cooking and do the washing and then zip out and do a bit more work. Yeah, that's how it sort of, so I fell into the role.
Pigs at Avonstour are really important. They create our fertility. When we took over the place, there was lots of areas that needed cultivating and resowing. We didn't have a tractor, so we used pigs to plough up the paddock, and that brought the fertility in. Then we fed out our hay on this, so we got the right sorts of seeds that grow in this area. And that set up the farm, really. That's the base. So that was 20 years ago. We had a lot more pigs than what we've got now. A good proportion of the meat that leaves the farm is pork, bacon and sausages. It is a big part of the meat, and it's really, really sought after. The Canterbury Blues are an interesting one. They were caught wild in Canterbury, New Zealand, in the South Island. They were thought to be let go by Indian Army officers maybe 100 years ago. The rare breed searched India and we couldn't find a photo of a blue pig, and then someone went to Pakistan and there's blue pigs in Pakistan. I can tell you the meat is supreme off those pigs. They're like nothing else. Saddleback pigs were very, very rare in New Zealand. We got down to only one sow, so the rare breeds took them over and we bred them up. They're now regularly seen in the show ring and quite often being champion of the breed in the AMP show ring. And we do show a bit at Avonstour, and I'm a senior pig judge. But the Wessex Saddleback is more meaty pig. They do really well on grass. They're actually better outside than a white pig. They don't get sunburn. The meat is really, really tasty, really, really good. a really good homesteading pig. We've got a stud flock of Dorset Horns. They're a registered stud. They actually come from the region where I come from in the UK, and they lamb twice a year. I've had them for maybe 30 odd years and developed them that we don't need to wean, so we sell the lambs directly off the sheep and they're already in lamb. The Poll Dorset generally lambs twice in 18 months, where the Dorset Horn is a little bit more fertile. Our other breed also lambs twice a year, another breed, the Damara, so we're used to it. They are a meat sheep. The wool is actually the whitest wool in the world, and was what the southern England wool industry was built on, was the wool of the Dorset and the Wiltshire. But they're not really a wool sheep. For me, if I can get them with less and less wool, and that's how we bred them, the better it is. These sheep are a bit of a mix. They're Damara purebreds and Damara crosses. You can sort of pick out the purebreds, the ones that have shed the wool off. But what we're trying to develop is a New Zealand sort of Damara that's good for organic farming. So they have crossed some overseas Damaras with other breeds. They're called the Meat Master. These are bred for drought conditions. A natural wild sheep has got hair like a goat and a woolly undercoat in the winter. So a shedding sheep is actually a hair sheep. The other thing with a hair sheep is, like the Wiltshire's a hair sheep, that goes along with good tasting meat and survivability, because you're picking up those wild genes. So what we're trying to do is breed a sheep that you don't have to drench, don't have to shear, don't have to touch, and they also breed twice a year. The horned ones are Lukenvelders, which are belted Dutch, and they form the belted component of the belted Galloway. So way back in the 15th century, belted Galloways weren't belted at all. They're mostly black or dun, and they introduced belted Dutch, and that formed the belted Galloway. And that's where the belted Galloway got the high milking ability, because the Lukenvelder is a milking breed. And we leased cattle for a long time, Ruth and I, and we crossed the belted Dutch with Friesians, and we topped everyone's herds. They were up over 400 BWs, first cross. We use them for beef, sucker cows. We've got a good market for beef, and also for the cross grazing. We don't sell many live at all. They are really, really rare, probably the rarest cattle in the world.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.